Hey guys, Sam from Manfa's Makes. How are you all? Welcome back to all my returners and hi to any newbies. It is so great to have you here. Please do stick around a while. And if you like what you see, give me a thumbie. They are free. So, I have been busy deep cleaning my kitchen, but I thought I deserved a well-deserved break to come on and spend some time with you, my absolute lovelies. And it also occurred to me that I haven't done a crochet catch up in a little while. Now, that will be returning next year in absolute gusto. But for the tail end of this year, my focus has shifted to getting the whip pile done and down because I don't want to take too many projects into 2025. And also, I need to get the crocheting for projects that have their own segment worked on, progressed, hopefully finished, and they get featured in their own right. So, like I said, Crochet Catch Up will come back next year to keep you up to date with what I'm working on. But for the latter part of this year, I will just be concentrating on those projects that get featured anyway and the whip pile that I don't want to carry forward. But as you can see from the title of this video, this is a special crochet catch up because I want to update you on my Boggy Creek blankets that I have been making. Now, most of these blankets have already featured on the channel, but I wanted to do a snapshot, capture all of them in one video. So those that haven't seen the ones that I've already made get the chance to. And also I can get these blankets washed, bagged up and sent to Boggy Creek by the end of the year. Now, some of you may remember that as part of my 24 goals for 2024, I wanted to double my efforts from last year. Last year I made 4 and Mike made 1. As you know, Mike has not been crocheting this year at all, really, so there are no donations from Mike. I did not get 8 done like I wanted to, guys, but I have got 6 done, which isn't too shabby. It is still more than last year. It's just a little short of that 8 goal, but like I said, I need to concentrate on the crochet that I've already got on my hooks. And also with Christmas coming and other such festivities, there may be other projects that I need to get done as well. So 6 is better than none. And that will mean that 6 kiddos at Boggy Creek Camp will feel my love and warmth when they wrap themselves in my blankets. So yes, 6 completed. We will take a look at them in just a minute. But for those of you who may not be aware what Boggy Creek Camp is, I will give you a very brief explanation because it will be very surprising if you haven't heard about Boggy Creek. There is a whole Boggy Creek blanket brigade going on. Now, the members of the brigade are Nancy at She's Got Yarn Too, Lynette from Charmed Grammy Crochet, Linan from Nina's Knots Crochet, and Juan from Juan the Yarn Addict. Sorry. Oh, I can't get people's names straight today, guys. I do apologise. Now, all 4 of those incredible humans will be listed in my description box. So if you are not familiar of those wonderful Yarny podcasters, some of which are my dear friends, then please do go over and check them out. But Nancy lives in Florida and her mum is part of a women's group who take it upon themselves to help out local causes in their area. Now, 3 years ago, I believe now, Nancy's mum approached Nancy asking if she could make a blanket or 2 to help Boggy Creek Camp. Nancy, of course, agreed. She also mentioned it to Lynette, Charm Grammy, because they are very good friends. And Lynette said, of course, I'll do a couple. But you do realise we have a huge platform open to us to get more help than just ourselves. And there were other people along the way that helped. Billy the Crafty Floridian took a big part of it, but she stepped down and the new blanket brigade is in force. Now, I do believe that you can send your blankets to either Nancy or Juan, and that is absolutely amazing, because what we do is we pledge to make these blankets, we ship them to Nancy or Juan, and then Nancy will hand deliver them to Boggy Creek Camp in February, and their goal for this year is 2,025 blankets. So 2025 blankets for the year of 2025. Now, last year, I believe we managed to collect, or they managed to collect 1,090 something, which is amazing. And just imagine if we can get the 2025. There are various hashtags going around, such as hashtag fill that truck. And I'm sure if you check out the Blanket Brigade down below, you will be able to find even more details. And just so that you know, Boggy Creek Camp in Florida is a camp for chronically and seriously ill kiddos, so that they get the opportunity to experience camp, whereas the average camp will not be able to accept them because of their complex medical needs. But this camp is different, and this camp is special because it is fully staffed by nurses and doctors, which means that they are on hand for any of the children's medical needs while they stay. They have the exact experience of camp that all the other children in the US experience, and it is just incredible what they do there. They even have an on-site medical facility. The staff give up their time and volunteer to work there. They rely on charitable donations. I think if you check out the Blanket Brigade as well, they have merch and stuff where all the proceeds go to Boggy Creek as well. And it's just an amazing thing to give a sick kiddo a wonderful, wonderful experience at camp. And then the blankets, they get put on the cabin beds, and when the children go to stay, they get to select a cabin bed, and the blanket that is on their bed, they get to keep as a forever memento of their awesome time at Boggy Creek. So all of our handmade blankets do get taken home by each kiddo that stays, which is just fabulous. I am so glad that I can be a part of it again. I have enjoyed making all of my Boggy Creek blankets, and it absolutely warms my heart that this YouTube community pulled together so massively and work together to give as many kiddos as possible that gift of love, of friendship, and to know that people who will never meet them love them and care about them and want to give them a special gift to keep forever. So I hope I did that explanation justice, but if you still have questions, then check out the 4 channels listed below. As I said, they have all the details you need, but also Boggy Creek Camp have their own YouTube channel, so you will be able to find lots of other information over there as well. If you do go and check out the Boggy Blanket Brigade people in my description box, let them know that Manfa says hi. I would really appreciate it. So the first blanket that I did is this one here. I used a tutorial by Cinnamon Stitches. It is her Boggy Creek blanket tutorial. I will try and link it in the description box as well. Now, I did switch this up a little bit for my own needs and wants, and Jennifer at Cinnamon Stitches encourages you to tweak and change her patterns to suit your needs, and that's exactly what I did. I'm going to try and make sure that I don't show you the back of the blanket. Although this one is pretty much reversible, so I don't think it matters too much. But I did it in white, and I also did it in these gorgeous pink and grey shades in the Picasso Ice Yarns. And it does fit the blanket measurements, because don't forget, guys, if you're sending blankets to Boggy Creek, they need to be 35 to 40 inches wide and between 40 and 50 inches long. And to hit that sweet spot, you can do a 40 by 40 square. Now, I can't remember how big this one is. We'll show you the other side just in case I was showing you the back. but it does hit the measurements. I did make sure of that. And like I said, this one is pretty much reversible and I thoroughly enjoyed it. My thought process behind this one is there might be an older girl that is going to camp, because I believe they take children from the ages of 6 to 17. Again, don't quote me, but they do take quite a large age range of children. So I thought maybe an older girl would like a bit more of an older themed blanket. So there is a blanket number 1. And like I said, I will link the tutorial from Cinnamon Stitches down in my description box. Right, I'm going to pull out a chair so that I don't put them on the floor. Now they are going to be washed. You don't have to wash them before you send them, because Boggy Creek actually wash them themselves. But I always like to give them a bit of a freshen up, so I know that I've sent a clean blanket, and then if they choose to wash them again, that is entirely up to them. And I suppose it's good that Boggy Creek do wash them, because they will use soaps and things that won't irritate skin conditions. Our soap powder might irritate them. So, okay, blanket number 2 is this beauty here. This is another Cinnamon Stitches pattern, and I took the stitch pattern from her Funshine Bag, and I just extended it and did it backwards and forwards rather than in the round. Now I will link the tutorial for the Funshine Bag down below, but just remember guys that I picked one of the I picked the multiple and I made sure it was big enough, and I just did backwards and forwards in rows rather than going in the round. This yarn here is Premier Sweet Rolls, I believe, in the colour Pansy Pop, and then the border is just a single row of Mandala Ombre, I believe. So there is this one. Now this one I thought was kind of gender neutral. It could suit either a boy or a girl. And again, I went for the older age group with this one. I know they're encouraging us to make really bright and super fun ones, but I do have teens myself, and I know that my teens in particular wouldn't want a bright, cheerful, in-your-face. They'd like a more mature blanket. So there we go. Oh, and I've left a stitch marker in there. Let's reclaim that. Boggy Creek don't need that. That was a good spot. Take that one off. And there we go. That's it folded there so that you can see the stitch pattern again. Really soft, really squishy. Another gorgeous, gorgeous pattern. Absolutely love it. And that is blanket number 2. So we're a third of the way there already, guys. Now, the third blanket that I will show you in just a second is just a continuous granny square around and around and around and around. And I did stitch on it until it got to that 40 by 40 inch sweet spot. And I used one of my Hobie Horizon cakes. Can't remember the colour. In fact, 2 Hobie Horizon cakes and then an Emu Funfair cake, if I'm remembering correctly. And I also put in some Hobie Kind Feather, which is the yellow that you see on the border and the section of yellow after the first Hobie Horizon. So that middle bit is the first Hobie Horizon cake. I then did this section of yellow here in the Hobie Kind Feather, and then I believed I used the other Hobie Horizon that I had and the Emu Funfair. And it is bright, it is cheerful, it is colourful, and yeah, there we go. There is a continuous granny square for some lucky kiddo. And I hope they enjoy the bright, fun colours. That one really challenged me, guys, because if you know Manfa, you know that she struggles not to colour control. you will know that she has a really hard time just letting the colours flow. And because this cake and these cakes are completely different colourways, I really struggled with the fact that they might not be cohesive. But then I thought, bright, colourful, cheerful, and most kiddos aren't going to care that the colours don't coordinate. They're just going to care that they have a squishy, soft, lovely blanket to curl up in and to take home and keep as a forever memento. So that was blanket number 3. Blanket number 4, I did have struggles with this one. I joined Lala, Mad Mimi's Crochet and Farming, and my YouTube mama Jan and Alaskan Crafter Jan when they put out the challenge of doing the cat's meow blanket. I powered through that pattern, guys. It wasn't a favourite of mine. I'm glad I did it though. I was so happy to join in with Lala and Jan, and I'm really pleased that I managed to get the blanket done, and I'm really pleased again that a kiddo at Boggy Creek will benefit from the blanket as well. But it wasn't a fave make, and I'm not that impressed with my colour choice. It's not really in my wheelhouse, but I pushed myself out of my comfort zone again, and a lot of you did like the colour choices that I used. So for this one, I used ice yarns. I think it was macaron in a blue colour. And then I used 2 cakes of, it was a knitting network, and I think it was a papacha cake, but it is a very similar colourway to some of the mandala cakes that you guys get over the pond. So I just put 2 cakes together, held the strings together, which gave it a mild look. And yeah, I've had lots of compliments on this blanket, even though it wasn't a favourite of mine to make. And it's really hard to showcase these blankets because there isn't a lot of room between my yarn wall and you where you're sitting. So I do apologise if you can't get a really good look, but hopefully you get the gist of the make. Try and fit it in. There we go. So the cat's meow. There we go. And I'll go back down again in case you missed it. So there we go, the cat's meow. So thank you to Lala and Jan for putting out that challenge. Thank you for making me push my boundaries and challenge myself as well. And I hope, like I said, some gorgeous kiddo at Boggy Creek gets the benefit of the blood, sweat and tears that went into this. Not really blood, sweat and tears, but it was hard going, that one. Right, I'm just going to take a sip of tea. Please excuse me, but I'm getting a bit of dry mouth. Okay, so that's 4. 2/3 of the way through. We've got 2 left. So, blanket number 5. There was a bit of a story to this one as well. But actually, all of the blankets I have made for Boggy Creek were made from yarns in my stash, which means all 6 of these Boggy Creek blankets have counted towards Stash Down 2024. So not only do the kids get the blankets, I get the fuzzy feeling of helping those that need my help. But I do tick off bashing through my stash for Stash Down. Okay, so this one is a C2C blanket. There are 3 different yarns in this one. The majority of it is made out of the Papacha Moulon Chunky, but I ran out of that. So for one corner of it, I used a scrap of a Hobie Mega Ball in a baby blue colour. And then I used some more of the ice macaron that I used in the cat's meow to put a border on it. And here we go. And then I used some other scraps to put a smiley face on the corner that doesn't match the rest of the blanket. It should have all been this, guys, but it didn't pan out that way. But it is a C2C. A lot of people do a lot of girly colours. And it was also mentioned that we do need some more boy-friendly blankets, hence the more blues and the greens and the browns. And I just thought by adding that smiley face in the corner, it gives a bit of fun, it gives a little bit of happiness and joy. And no, it's not my best work, but I'm pretty sure a kiddo at Boggy Creek is really not gonna mind at all, and will appreciate my efforts. And it was fun to do another C2C. I haven't done one for a while. So I use the C2C. So the continuous granny square, going back 2 blankets. I didn't use a tutorial, I just know how to do it. The cat's meow, I will put a link to the pattern in the description box, but it is a paid for pattern. So be careful when you click that link. I'm not trying to enable you. I'm not trying to get you to purchase a pattern. I don't get any kind of, I am not affiliated to anyone or anything. So I don't get any kickback or anything, but I will put it there in case you want to check the pattern out. And then the C2C tutorial that I've always followed is from Crystal at Bag a Day. So I will try and link that tutorial for you. And then with the smiley face, guys, I literally just crocheted a circle and put a little face on it. No tutorial, no pattern, just me trying to brighten this blanket up. So there's that one. So those you have all seen on the channel previously. Well, if you've been around, you will have seen on the channel already. The 6th and final blanket that I will be sending and showing you today, I have not featured on the channel at all. So this is a project that you haven't seen. So again, I went rooting around in my stash because obviously you need quite a quantity to get a blanket for the size that you need. And that is okay. So I went rooting around in my stash. Now for this one, I used my 5.5mm clover, the green one. It's gonna focus. There we go. And I used Knitting Network yarn again. This is the ABC yarn Spots DK. They were 100 grams skeins, approximately 200 meters or 219 yards. They are 100% anti-pilling acrylic, made in Turkey. They recommend a 4mm knitting needles. There is no hook recommendation. Machine wash up to 40 degrees Celsius. Do not iron. You can dry clean using A. You can tumble dry low. Do not bleach. And I used the colour Octopus. And I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 whole ones, and then about half of another one. Now, the half of the other one is currently in a project bag for me to make charity hearts with. I also used up a complete ball of Kind Feather. Kind Feather is 100% premium acrylic anti-pilling. 100 grams, 3.5 ounces. 235 meters or 257 yards. It is a lightweight 3 or a DK. 4mm needles and hooks. Wash up to 30. Do not bleach. Iron low. Dry clean using P. It says lay flat to dry, but it's anti-pilling acrylic, guys. You do what you need to do, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine in the tumble dryer on low. It really will. Made in Turkey, and this is colour 10, and it is a pink colour. And then I also used a smidgy bit of another Hobie kind feather, but it was in a lilac-y lavendery colour. And the leftover lilac-y lavendery colour is again in my bag for charity hearts. So any leftovers from this blanket will be used up in charity hearts. But for the blanket, I used 1 whole skein of the pink kind feather and 5 whole skeins of the ABC yarn Spots DK. And I suppose there's nothing else to do but to show you the blanket. Now for this one, I was just playing around, guys. I just needed a project that I didn't have to think too much about, that I could mindlessly do while watching my YouTube videos or watching programs on telly. It wasn't something that I had to count every stitch. And I just kind of made it up as I went along. There is no pattern for this. I just did it by myself. And so the ABC Spots octopus colour is this white base with the pink and the purple speckles. It's super pretty. And then there is the pink Hobie kind feather, and then that little bit of the lavender on the border just to tie all of the colours in. But again, this is a 40 by 40 square. I started off with the classic granny square. I then did a few rows of solid granny, back to classic, back to solid, back to classic, solid, classic, solid, classic, solid. And I did that all the way through. And then for the border, I did 1 row of the octopus colorway of double crochets. Then I did a round in the pink kind feather double crochets. Then I did the purple kind feather double crochets, and then I did a final row of the octopus colorway double crochets. So the border is 4 rows of doubles, and the rest is just a mixture of classic granny and solid granny. And I think it turned out pretty cute. So that is my 6th and final Boggy Creek blanket for this year. I am so pleased and so happy with these. I think there is a good mixture of colours for both girls and boys. I think there is a good mix of fun for the younger ones and slightly more mature for the older ones. I did use up an awful lot of my stash, and it just ticks every box for me, guys. I am just so pleased and so happy that I can contribute 6 blankets to a wonderful cause. So yeah, that'll do for Manfa. That really will. Now, I don't know if I will be participating next year. I haven't really thought that far ahead. Obviously, the cost of shipping to Florida is massive. I may try and focus on charities closer to home for next year. I'm not sure yet. But these 6 definitely will go off, and that will mean that over 2 years I've donated 10 blankets. So the 6 blankets that I did this time, I started kind of mid-April. We're now about mid-October. So in 7 months, I did 6 blankets, which if all I was doing with blankets, I probably could have had about 20 or so by now. I could have, done way more. But you all know that I have other crochet that needs my time and attention as well. And quite simply, I don't know if I could afford to ship 20 blankets, even if I wanted to. So I will definitely get those blankets washed, bagged up, and shipped to Nancy, ready for the deadline of getting them there for February. But I don't know if this will be the end of my participation or not. You're going to have to stay tuned to find out. So, yeah, I think that's about it, guys, to be fair, for today. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed looking through my Boggy Creek blankets. That is a lot of yarn used from my stash. That is 6 more kiddos that have a personalised blanket. And it just always leaves you with a warm, fuzzy feeling. So yeah, thank you for looking at them with me today. Thank you for your time. I really do appreciate it. Let me just have a quick look in my planner to see what is coming up for you tomorrow. So tomorrow you will get the answers to any questions you may have put on a specific video that's already aired. It's going to be the answers to, so it's going to be a Q&A, question and answer video. So please do come back tomorrow for that. That's going to be fun. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. So I will see you tomorrow, but until then, stay safe, be kind, look after one another, get some good quality time in with your loved ones, and get some good quality crafting time in. I will see you in the next one or around the YouTube streets. Bye, guys. Love you loads.